Hello, everyone. Welcome to Otaku Talk. It's me, your boy, your host, OD, and today we'll be reviewing and analyzing both chapters 215 and 216. Last week, I didn't get a chance to do the review, so I'm going to talk a little bit about 215 today. And luckily, 215 and 216 actually are a good couple of chapters to actually review together because they both have a lot to do with each other, and not much happened in 215 that doesn't have anything to do with 216. So this actually kind of worked out in my favor this one time. Like I said, I'll try not to make a habit out of this, but things happen. As you can see, if you've been here before, I'm not in my usual setup. Had a Halloween party last night, so I've just been recuperating at a friend's house. So I've been smart about my shit. I've been bringing my recording equipment with me places so that I can, get this out the way. So anyway, if this is your first time on this channel or you haven't been here before, I would really appreciate if you could, hook a brother up with a like, share, subscribe, bang that bell, do a homie a solid. And without much further ado, let's get into the review. So I'm gonna pretty much touch on. I'm just gonna speed run this review. It's not gonna be too in depth, too detailed. I just want to get the exact points of what happened in both chapters and how I feel about them. And so a majority of 215 was we used I believe it's selenium to create giant ass solar panels. We're going to be launching satellites into space, and we're going to be using said satellites to beam down images of the moon so that we can find Y-Man, or at least that's what we were thinking at first. And so all I can say is I am super hype behind how terribly this all went. I was saying this for a long time in a lot of my other reviews, and I was saying, man, I really, really, really hope that this whole satellite launch, this whole rocket ship launch, getting to the moon thing is not going to be a cakewalk. Do not get me wrong. Senku is that man. Zeno is that nigga. But space travel is something that even now, with all the technology we have, with all the equipment we have, with all the knowledge and just the brain power and just the force at work, and just everything, all the tools at our disposal, is still a risky venture. We still have failed flight tests to this day. And so to be working at such a tremendous disadvantage in this stone world using such shoddy, all right, so I was about to say shoddy craftsmanship, and I'm not going to come for my boy Kaseki. I'm not going to come for the people working on this. I don't mean shoddy in terms of they're not putting in the work. They're definitely putting in the work. It's just they do not have the current tools, in my opinion, that would allow them to effectively, efficiently build these materials without failure, without flaw. And so here's my thing. Like I said, we have these amazing computers, we have these amazing machines that design and print and craft and carve things at specific dimensions, because when it comes to space travel, the slightest deviancy at all in the math and the length of this equipment, or the diameter of this, or the circumference of this, and the thickness of any given material can affect your launch, can affect your survivability in space. And so I'm just in love with the fact that the author stayed true to that, and he made sure that for the first several, I don't know, we only saw a few on screen, on page explosions, but I would love to think that there was a lot more than we saw, and that was what the author just chose to show us. But that's literally how it would go. That's literally how it would go. It's literally when people say it's not rocket science, the reason or brain surgery, those two things are some of the hardest things in Earth that you can do, the hardest things for someone to do. And so, like I said, I am just head over the stars, head over the moon about the fact that, okay, this is not going to be a cakewalk. This is going to be something that they have to struggle and to fight for. Even though still the pacing is, still fast, they're showing that, okay, Senku and Zeno are geniuses, but they're not about to just, do this damn thing. So after a lot of trial and error, they finally get their first satellite up in the air. And the reason I say their first satellite is this isn't going to be the telescope satellite that sends us images back and forth from moon to earth to let us know where White Man is. This is just kind of the first one, the pilot. It's to do recon of Earth first. We've been told that over the thousands of years, tens of thousands of years, that just thousands of years, right? The thousands of years that Earth has been petrified, that a lot of the geography has changed, that a lot of climates have changed, that a lot of things have happened, and without human interference, like many climates and environments have changed, have been different. So right now, Senku's using this opportunity to pretty much recreate like a map, a globe of the world, and we see that certain tundras are different now. Certain deserts are now lush forests, and like what's that? The coral reefs have produced new land masses and stuff like that. So that was really cool to read and hear about. So that was actually really, really dope. So that was actually really smart. That was something I didn't think about. That yeah, it is smart to get a kind of geographical layout of the current state of the world as it is, and also as it pertains to depetrifying like the billions of people on the planet. And also, like, I'm just very curious about the rollout plan for that in general, just because, you're going to depetrify all these people. And unless you have, certain things, certain infrastructures in place, like food, water, sewage, I don't know, just so much other stuff, a law force, how this is going to go. But that's a question for much later on in the series, if the mangaka decides to go down that route, which I personally hope he does, but he potentially might not. So we get into 216, and we see that, and we finally have our recon rocket up, and then we need to also send up the telescopic rocket, which we inevitably end up doing anyway. And these aren't like your stereotypical satellites. They're huge because they require huge solar panels because of the level of solar panel that we are using, the level of satellite that we are using. Obviously, they're not going to be up to the specs of what we were using prior to the whole petrification era. So the solar panels had to be, way bigger, have to be able to absorb a lot more energy just to be able to send the data that we need and maintain their orbit around the planet. I love how they explain how satellites work, and it's not a matter of them needing fuel, even though I'm pretty sure that they have, like, I might be wrong, I should have done some research on this, but I was under the impression that they like had like thrusters to make slight deviations. Like when you're in space, no forces really act upon you, but there can be certain things that happen and debris that might come through, might hit you, and you might need to recorrect the course of your satellite. So yeah, that's pretty much all they said. They need the minute power of solar energy for, and we're just gonna have the satellites utilizing Earth's own gravitational pull and rotation to just stay in orbit. So we use Kohaku. No, wait, Kohaku? Why did I forget her name? Yeah, pretty sure it's Kohaku. Kohaku, and as you remember, she has incredible eyesight. She was the one that helped us find the oil deposits much earlier on in the series, and so it stands to reason that we would use her phenomenal eyesight again to find out the location of Wyman. So I forget the exact specifics of the time elapse that took place, but after quite some time, she was able to see some kind of deviation on the moon's surface, and we, as of right now, are just going to assume that is the location of Wyman, as it is the only thing that we have seen and know to be different and have changed. So that is great. Now, the most important thing, in my opinion, about these last two chapters is the stakes they have raised. Like I said, I am super happy that it has been like failure after failure after failure. And I also like the fact that like the people that aren't Senku and Zeno are kind of confused about how like chipper they are, how excited they are. And at the end of the day, being a scientist, someone who actually loves science, like this isn't someone that wants to pass a class or wants to achieve something. You like science, you love science for the pure wholefulness of science itself and discovery itself. And that's what science is, trial and error. I've been in so many lab classes for bio, for chem, for physics. And the whole process of a lab is to do something, get specific results. And if you don't get those results, either try to continue to change stuff, fix variables to get those results, or maybe you have to acknowledge the fact that your whole premises is wrong, scrap everything, and maybe reestablish that, okay, these are the results that I have when this thing occurs. And so for them, it's like every time it's like, okay, what went wrong this time? What went wrong this time? What went wrong this time? And for every single failure they have, it's technically a success because they're finding something new that doesn't work. And honestly, this is the best time to have these problems. This is the best time to go through trial and error, because you do not want, and they even say this in the in one of the panels at the time, you don't want these mistakes happening with actual lives, with actual people. And so while they're unmanned, this is the time to do it. However, like I said before, what I really like is this increases the stakes exponentially, right? Because not only does, like, right now we've been having failures with unmanned ships. A manned ship is going to be way, way larger than the satellite launch ships, and you can forego a lot of stuff on these rocket ships because you don't need, for example, what's that stuff called, life support or whatever it's called, life support, all the I don't think you need like the gravitational stabilizers they have. And by the way, I wonder how they're going to do that. So you know how like you can turn on and off the gravity in spaceships and stuff like that, or I believe in rockets, I believe so. So I wonder how they're going to be able to recreate that. But yeah, long story short, there's going to be a lot of features that are needed in the rocket, from, you know, food storage. By the way, I'm wondering how they're going to do that. They're going to make astronaut food for them. Maybe just a lot of not freeze dries, but dried meats, I'm assuming. I'm wondering how they're gonna keep all that stuff. Like, there's just so much at hand here. But yeah, they're gonna need a larger ship to get into space. And on top of that, we have Chrome and Suika, who are secretly working on a return vessel, and that's going to be hard on its own. And all I'm saying is, no disrespect to them, you know, I feel like I shouldn't have to say this, but I'm just saying this because I don't want anyone to think I'm sleeping on them. But the sheer fact that it took the geniuses that are Xenos and Senku, who also grew up with the actual technology and the reference for what they're doing, they're having failures. The fact that Chrome and Suika are trying to secretly do this without the help, without the tutelage of Senku and Zeno, and try to figure this whole thing out on their own and make it in secret. That's insane to me because, like I said, like, Senku and Zeno, their shit's already blowing up. Now, once again, return vessels are slightly different from, you know, launching vessels. Like, that's the hardest part, by the way. The hardest part of space travel is the initial launch, breaking the atmosphere, getting to space, yada, yada, and nothing going wrong. So honestly, they have an easier task at hand than I'm making it out to be, but it's still a difficult task. I'm pretty sure they still need some thrusters and stuff to fight against, you know, the force of re-entry into the atmosphere, and so much more going on. But anyway, super exciting chapter. We finally, quote unquote, know the location of Y-Man. It could be something else, but most likely it is Y-Man. I want to know what this dark spot is. I want to know what it represents. And then I'm very curious about how soon, how quickly we will actually be able to space travel ourselves and get up there. Once again, I hope that there is no rush. Also, I'm very, very concerned about the maiden voyage, the maiden flight. Because honestly, I think it would be really, really cool. I doubt this will happen. I don't believe it'll happen. But if the initial flight is a failure itself, but, you know, who knows? But I'm just saying, if the easiest part, the satellite launches, ended in failure for the most part, a manned rocket, definitely, like, we as the US, and I'm sure Russia as well, I think we're the two leaders in space travel, have had so many issues with space travel, with all the advantages we had. So that's just my 2 cents. Anyway, great chapters, great setup chapters. I'm loving it. I'm loving the stakes. I'm loving the fact that this isn't a cakewalk. There was even a part in, I think, 215 where one of them says it's going to be a piece of cake, and it sure wasn't. Oh, something also that I totally forgot to touch on is it seems that we are utilizing all our forces across the globe. Everyone we have a Perseus India, we have a Perseus like Siberia. I don't know if Siberia. I forget. We had multiple Perseuses. I'm sure we're doing not trade, but we're exchanging goods. We're communicating with all the various countries where we have natural resources that we need for this travel. We're probably going through tons and tons and tons of rocket boosters and metal and selenium and all this stuff. So it's nice that the mangaka is showcasing all the behind the scenes stuff. This isn't just things aren't just happening. Things aren't just coming to fruition. There's work and effort behind them. So very, very interested in all of this. Can't wait for the next chapter. And I'm going to leave it here for now. Anyway, have a great day. Happy Halloween, by the way. I was going to wear my mask, but I just said, F it. I didn't feel like doing it today. But I really hope you guys all enjoy your Halloween. I might possibly see the new My Hero Academia movie tonight. So that would be cool if I do see that. I'm planning on doing a review for that. What else is coming out? There's a bunch of stuff coming out. There's some this new I think the Eternals is either out already or coming out. I might do a review on that. Not really looking forward to it, but we will see. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the works. I really want to do a Basil Hawkins video. I know this is a Dr. Stone review, so people watching this might not care about One Piece stuff, but I really, really want to do a Basil Hawkins video, and possibly one about Awakening. But we know nothing about Awakening, but we know enough, so I might do something along those lines. Anyway, I keep saying I'm going out, so let me actually go now. Anyway, guys, have a great Halloween. Have a great day. Take care. Peace. This has been Otaku Talk. I'm your host, OD. If you like this video, please do me a solid. Like, share, subscribe. All right, guys. Take care.